chat. So hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Hisame Artwork. The stream health is not great. Maybe I need to close some more stuff. Not sure. Hope you guys can all hear and see me okay. I'm just not gonna bother opening my Picarto chat anymore. It's just nobody there. Also, it feels like every time I say hi to somebody on Picarto, they just disappear. It's a pretty strange platform. Okay. So today I'm going to color page 109 from our comic book Niels Feynman's Time Traveling Adventures. Let's see, stream health is still pretty bad. Oh, I have one person watching. Hi there. Sorry for starting this late again. I couldn't find in the new YouTube studio where the live streaming page is. They did some updates and it's pretty weird. Okay. I want the G pen. There we go. And I press Ctrl in order to select Irwin. In fact, I think I can squeeze this a bit more. There we go, made some more room. And pink for his ears. And his nose. Blue for the eye. And some yellow for the other eye. I should have colored this green before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the tree out, put it on another layer. Tree trunk color. There we go. And I have some leftover line art over there. Need to clean this up. When you zoom out, you don't notice these things. If you're not careful, you can have like leftover line art from other things. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, so I have a copyright strike from some troll. I was showing a mod that somebody else made on YouTube, and I got a copyright strike for that just because I was showing it. I mean, I think it should be under fair use, but YouTube doesn't seem to care. It's spamming me with messages. Oh, to save my internet. The European Union wants to take my internet away. Oh, the horror. But I have this problem with them that they gave me a copyright strike for no good reason. But somehow the European Union wants to take my internet away. Anyway, so yeah, I was late because I couldn't find the option to go to my live streaming page in the new beta page, and I think it might be missing because I have a copyright strike, because technically you're not supposed to be able to stream when you have a copyright strike, but here I am streaming and it's working, so the incompetence at YouTube is mind-boggling. Spent 3 weeks arguing with a robot from YouTube. And I'll try and see if I can get to talk to a human being. Like, algorithm issues happen quite frequently. On Society 6, for example, one of my prints was suspended out of stupidity as well. Somebody wasn't paying attention when they suspended. In order to fight copyright theft, like somebody sells Nike logo stuff on Society 6, someone will go and try and remove that because they don't have license. Like Nike doesn't give out licenses to other people, as far as I know, like Disney does. And so they pretty much tried to on Society 6 ban anyone using the tag logo, and they suspended my art print with my own logo, with my logo that I have everywhere for many years. And I emailed them, and fortunately they still have human beings working there, so I was able to talk to a human being and prove that, hey, this is my logo, why did you suspend it? It's incorrect. So I'm glad I managed to fix the issue with Society 6. But with YouTube I haven't been able to speak to a human being, so the issue is still ongoing. So Clip Studio Paint has gotten some updates, some new brushes for us to use. I haven't been able to find out where are they supposed to be. They're supposed to come with the update. I updated my version of Clip Studio Paint and I still can't find them. So I'll probably have to do some googling to find out. It really shouldn't be that hard. But not all programs are the most user-friendly, and if you're not very good with this program because you're new to it, like you would never find out. Especially if you're using Gmail, because all the notifications go in there, the updates. Like for example, I have something on my Steam wish list, like I have a video game on Steam wish list, and the notifications for that always go in a separate tab for social or updates or stuff like that, and I always forget to check that. Like I go into my main inbox, so it usually takes me a couple of days to notice once I remember, like, oh wait, I have all these other notifications I have to go look into. But keep an eye on that. If you're having Clip Studio Paint as well, that's usually where the updates about these things go. Also, sometimes the program will say, hey, you know, I have updates for you. Do you want to see it? And usually when I open Clip Studio Paint, it is to do something, so I don't have time to read these. And then I forget because I don't have a like a reminder button. I try and use sticky notes to kind of have a to-do list, like, oh, check updates for a thing. This weird hand is a bit weird. I'll fix it later. So this Sunday I'm gonna post the new cover for chapter 5. We had a bit of a pause hiatus to kind of get some more pages done ahead of time because I'm going to move. I'm gonna move to another continent, so I wanted to get as many pages ahead of time as I could. And it just seemed more natural to have a hiatus between chapters in the middle of a chapter. And we still kept posting stuff. For those of you that are new and mostly follow maybe my Stardew Valley stuff instead of my comics, and you've wandered into the live stream recording, oh, red, wait. Yep. So yeah, I do comics. and they're on Tapastic and they're free. People can tip me there, so if you want to help us out with our comic books. I do not take money for Stardew Valley, it's not my property, and I'm not too much of a fan of uh, getting money for mods. Because a lot of it is not approved of or in relations to the uh, owner. Like for example, for Stardew Valley, it's a very family friendly um, game, and I've seen there have been some mods that are really adult, and they do have their payment option uh, enabled, so I'm not a big fan of that idea. Of course, there's nothing I can do about it unless the author. And Concerned Ape obviously doesn't want to forbid people from doing mods. Most mods are like harmless and nice and cute, and you know, you add more flowers to the game or more food recipes or stuff like that. So, but some of them, like, they turn pornographic, and they're also getting money for that. So it's definitely a legal gray area that it's pretty black and white as far as I'm concerned, but in terms of the rules, it's a bit more lax, I guess. I personally don't take any money for fan art or mods. Like, I have done mods for Stardew Valley. I did some kitty cat retextures. I'm working on a fish mod. I'm not taking any money for that. I've only taken money for the stuff that I do, and it's my IP. Let's see the road. There we go. It is definitely a moral conundrum in many ways. Like, for example, I am showing characters that existed, like Isaac Newton, and I am selling a comic book about Isaac Newton. I'm not sure exactly if, like, technically I would be making money off of that person's image. So that is a moral conundrum for me in that aspect. But I always try and show him in a good light and be respectful of his memory. And because my comic book is educational in a way, whenever you try and do something educational that is related in any way with history, like, you are gonna run into people that really did exist. Hi David, how are you? Hope everybody can hear me okay. Sounds yep, seems to be okay. And my stream health is better. Used to be in the yellow, now it's in the green. So I'm really happy for that. Awesome. Glad you can hear me okay. I've had streams where I forgot to turn the sound on to check that it was on because I changed the headphones and I didn't have any sound, and I was talking to myself for a long time until somebody says, "Hey, aren't you supposed to like have sound because you have a sticker with microphone on?" And this is why I always keep the sticker on in case my sound does fail. That maybe somebody that's watching will like tell me, "Hey, you don't have any sound." Like the only times I am purposely without sound is when I'm like super sick and I can't talk well. Like if I have a cold. I try and not skip stream days because it helps me stay in line with making the comic book pages. Yes, I can see you are obsessed with Stardew Valley. I'm not gonna do, I think, because I have a copyright strike. And so I can't show any mods, and just playing the vanilla, it's nothing new, it's nothing interesting to scrape, and I did this 2 years ago, and so what's the point of doing it now? And I will do for other video games probably. I have a lot of tutorials I promised I would do, video tutorials for art. So Stardew Valley probably not so much. Like I said, I had issues. A troll gave me a copyright strike on a YouTube video that was Stardew Valley related. So I really don't want to risk getting my account suspended because of I'm trying to show off nice things in Stardew Valley, and like YouTube does not care. I haven't been able to reach a human being at YouTube to discuss this. It's a pretty common issue with the algorithms that they have. Like for example, on Society 6, I have an art print suspended for no good reason. They made a mistake, but I was able to find a human being there, talk to them, and lift the suspension. Thank you. Glad you like these streams. Like I try and teach people how to do comics and other stuff like that. It's an opportunity for people that want to ask me questions to come and ask me questions, and they get a lot more clear explanation, and I can show them live in the video, and they can ask questions. I've been promising to do watercolor, but I have to get a camera for that to film how I do traditional art. And I just haven't had the opportunity and the financial backing to do that. You have to have the space and the equipment to do traditional art tutorials. And since I don't make a living out of making online tutorials, it's really hasn't been a priority for me. I just do what little I can, you know, to help people out. I know how hard it is when you're a beginner artist and you want to learn how to do certain things. I wish I had all of these resources when I was younger. Like when I was a teenager, I didn't have internet access. Definitely there were no YouTube tutorials. Like YouTube back then, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was just trash. Absolute dumpster fire, garbage trash. It was like Daily Motion is today. If you don't know what Daily Motion is, I recommend you do not go there. There's still a lot of trash on YouTube. Like whenever I'm not logged in with my account and it's like the default page, front page of YouTube is just terrible. Like worst YouTube videos that you can imagine, like those are on the front page. And I'm glad that they have this system where you can filter out a lot of stuff not to get garbage. So whenever I open my YouTube, I usually get like art tutorials, history channels, the occasional news channel because I sometimes click on news videos so then they get more of them. And as an adult, you tend to be more concerned about politics and legislation and stuff like that. So uh, I kind of have to keep track of these things because I have an obligation to go and vote on stuff. It is not fun. It's like horrible homework that you don't have to do, but if you don't, like it can be so much more worse for you. Having to research who you have to vote is like the most boring homework, frustrating homework ever. Uh, Often I kinda cheat and be lazy and I like ask my husband who you're voting for or my father and like who you're voting for and I'll go and check out that person and see like okay they seem acceptable. Like I can't find anything better so I'm like okay I'll vote for that person. Um, so yeah, at least it's acceptable to cheat, like copy the homework from somebody else in your family. Like, who are you voting for? But yeah, I won't bore you with that. I know you're a bit younger, so you have many years until you have to worry about this stuff. You can stay uh, and not do it for many years to come, I think. What I do like about Romanian documentation is that you get the ID when you're 14 years old. This is not something that you have in the US. So until you're 18, there are many things you cannot do in the US, but you can do in Romania, which I found really interesting and really smart. Like usually I don't have anything nice to say about Romanian legislation, but the fact that you get an ID when you're 14 is just so much more independence. You can go and rent stuff, you can go and get things that you normally can't if you don't have an ID. And they're like really simple things that you should be allowed to do without having to be 18. But you kind of still need some documentation. Like if you break something, they need to find you and get the money from you, I guess. Like bike rentals. Oh. When I travel to Germany or Japan or anywhere else, doing it by bike, visiting by bike is such a good system. It gets you around faster, you get to see more, it's less tiring, and so on and so forth. Oh, Switzerland as well. I rented a bike, and I was a minor at the time, so I was glad that I had the ID. Of course, you can use the passport, and you can have a passport when you are 17. Sorry, 16. So I think that is the soonest you can get a passport. And anyway, in Bucharest, you do have a lot of places you can rent bikes, and if I remember, they are based on your ID, you can get it. It's not the most bike friendly place you can go, but the parks are pretty safe. Like, you're not gonna run into cars in the park. Like, I think you're much more of a danger to people there than they are to you. Like, you can run over people because they're not looking where they're going. So here Marie is interrogating Erwin because he's been snitching on Niels. He's been telling Niels's mom um, about Niels's grades. So he's been caught because he wasn't careful, and he ousted himself as the rat. Um, as a bit of a joke, I made Niels's mom the cliche dragon mom, sorry, tiger mom. So, for those of you that don't know, you have parenting styles all around the world, but Chinese American uh, kids that grew up in America and are from Chinese families, they kind of developed this little joke, inside joke, to kind of criticize their parents for being too harsh on them. And they're classified as tiger moms, dragon moms, based on the Chinese zodiac. I don't know if you have bunny moms and sheep moms, because those animals are in the Chinese zodiac. So rat, sheep, was a rooster. So I guess you can have chicken mom and bunny mom and rat mom. But I haven't seen those. Usually the books on stuff like this is about tiger moms and dragon moms. And tiger moms are just scary. Um, and they will not let you have any fun, and they'll always make you do homework and stuff like that. So Niels's mom is definitely kind of a tiger mom. I think in the US it's called helicopter parenting. So they love to give names to things in the US. I don't know if you guys caught on to that. Dragon moms aren't as bad as tiger moms, apparently. Like, they'll let you breathe. And so yeah, like Niels's mom is trying to be discreet and not too overbearing, so she uses other people to keep an eye on Niels. Like she hired a spy ninja babysitter to kind of make sure he doesn't get hurt and still has freedom to move around, but it's like an illusion of freedom. Like everything that's been going on with Niels in this comic, it's been looked over by um, the babysitter that his mom has hired. And he also has, Marie and Erwin to watch his back, so he's more than safe. So for me, the challenge was to how do you show danger and intrigue when he's really in such a bubble that he would never actually get hurt. The story is finished. I have written it many years ago, so I know how it ends. I'm waiting for you guys to find out as well, one page of at a time. So hopefully it's still keeping you guys on your toes and trying to spoon feed you information little by little. Not too much. I really don't like ham-fisted stories where everything is obvious. Like I prefer a bit more of a detective story type of structure where you find out later on and you I really love stories where you need to reread in order to understand what was going on. Like that's one of the reasons I really like Game of Thrones. Song of Ice and Fire actually it's the series. Not for kids, so if you guys are underage, do not read the books until you're old enough. Believe me, I will spare you a world of pain. When I was little, I was like 11 or 12. I was bored because I didn't have internet, and my dad would watch football games, and we had moved on the TV, so the TV was occupied, and also we had moved, so I had no more friends to go outside and play with. So I asked my dad for books to read, and he gave me Lord of the Flies and George Orwell's 1984, and just like the most not kid-friendly books ever. Like, if you're a parent and listening to me, do not give your kid those books. They are not for kids. I went to a Christmas party and somebody gave a little girl a big thick book, and on the cover it said Les Miserables, and I know the story of that and it's not for kids. I understand it's a classic and it's important literature and all of that, but Les Miserables, I wouldn't give that to my kid. I like give him unicorns and sunshine and a whole bunch of stuff that is cute and cuddly and friendly and joyful. There we go, colored the tree. Stardew Valley does go into some pretty deep and dark things, like for example, Pam is an alcoholic, Shane is an alcoholic, and if you see the dialogue, he tries to kill himself and is suicidal, but I think for the most part it will just go over kids' heads and they will not notice this stuff, but maybe adults will appreciate it and be more pensive about, you should be more attentive to those around you because suicide is an issue. So I like a lot more the structure and how it is these things introduced in Stardew Valley, and I think that the video game format allows a lot more for stuff to go over your head. I think it's a lot more friendly to hiding important things like that than it would be for cartoons, I think. Like I remember Sailor Moon had a lesbian couple, I think, and one of the girls in Sailor Moon, I think it was Sailor Uranus, that was transsexual. I think, yeah, I think. Sailor Neptune was the blue-headed girl, and Sailor Uranus was the more tomboyish male, and that like went completely over kids' heads. And but since I kept seeing her over and over again, it was a bit confusing because I thought it was a boy, but then he could transform into a moon warrior or a Sailor Moon, something like that. And I was like, weren't there supposed to be only girls? Why doesn't he get a Tudexo like the Tudexo guy? But I didn't care. Like it was like some. It wasn't the only thing that was puzzling. Like you had a lot of villains that were really inappropriate for kids. So those were a lot more confusing for me. And I remember I collected the sticker book. Hi June. Maybe you can tell me where the brushes are supposed to be. Because I kept trying to find them. Like I think I updated properly the program, but I'm not sure. At the beginning it was in the watercolor brushes. Okay, so I went to watercolor. At least 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, these are ones that I already have. Like I don't think I have any new ones. Because I remember after watery brush there were others, and I'm not getting any new ones. So like where is it supposed to be? But now I see I have a new section called real watercolor. Okay. I don't seem to have that. Oil painting, watercolor, tool settings. No. Like cause I use the program thingy here, where was it? To update. Like I didn't reinstall the program. So I use this here in the communications management. It updated. They have color palettes. Did not know that. Oh, so I have to reinstall over the old program. I get it. How does this thing go? Like, does it give me a new swatch? Like, that would be cool. Anytime, okay. Can you download now? Oh, it's already downloaded. So I press this little thingy here and it should be in names are round watercolor brushes, flat watercolor brushes. Maybe I can find now. I should reinstall just to be sure. Okay. Don't know if they can be downloaded from the edits. Yeah. Assets. I read edits and like in my brain it was assets. It was good. But I'm curious, like these swatches, how do I install them? Where do I have swatches? Swatches. Window, do I have swatches here? Layer, color, wheel, slider, color set. There we go, maybe it works like that. Yay, but it's like super small window that you can barely see. And I have a lot of transparency because reasons. Oh, this is really inconvenient. Like, I would much rather have this page here, like print screen it. Crop and save. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like really convenient and orderly, but it's just like I'm not sure what it's supposed to be like. Like it just zooms in and zooms out and it doesn't rearrange in any useful way. I feel like Paint Storm has done this a lot better. I'm curious if it will be easy. Let's see. Clip, Studio, Paint. Like, can I download over it? Oh, it's pretty cheap now. Just for $50. Like it used to be the default 70. Oh, it has customizable brushes. Yeah, cute. But where is the download button? Yeah, I think there were supposed to be as dividers, the empty place, the spaces, but it's kind of confusing to find them the color I want. Support. The Pro is the standard now? Oh yeah, yeah, I have the Pro. And this one has animation and some other stuff in it. Yeah, I'm not finding it. I think I will go through the mail, or at least maybe they changed the pages, how they look like. Oh, maybe it's in downloads. Yeah, it looks more like it. Where's the download button? Useful. Oh, this one up here. For Windows. I think this is it, right? Hmm. It's kind of weird it doesn't update itself on these things. Like I don't it tells me oh it needs to update and it does stuff and I assume it's the new content but it's not. And that's always been really confusing for me. Okay, so I think this I will save and close. Where is it running? Oh. Yes. Let's see. Oh, this is gonna take a long time? No, it shouldn't because it's pretty small, I think. So consider guys this tutorial on how to update your Clip Studio Paint. I had promised I would do this a separate tutorial, but it's just such a boring thing that I was like postponing it forever and ever. Probably have to tell Kairani to check this last part because it's pretty convoluted. It's not the most simple. Like you need to go to the website and then on downloads and then download it and install. So if you're completely new, it's gonna be pretty daunting because you have so much text everywhere and you have to read everything and you don't know which is unimportant text and which is important. Okay, so I have to restart my computer. I'm gonna save no. Yeah, it should be easier. So I think I'm uh, gonna end the stream soon because I pretty much colored everything I needed to color. These last pages have been pretty simple, but I just wanted to show you guys how to update Clip Studio Paint. You actually have to install over the old version the new version. And also when you want to open the program, you have to open the Clip Studio and then go to Paint. So Clip Studio Paint is a subsection of the Clip Studio program, which is a bit confusing. You usually don't have that in any other program as far as I know. Like on Adobe when you go to open Photoshop, you open Photoshop, you don't open Adobe and then select Photoshop. Okay, so it is. So I guess I didn't need to restart my computer, which is nice. I can show you guys the new brushes. So I don't know if you saw previously, you only had watercolor, oil paint, and India ink, and now you have realistic brushes. So that's nice. Let me get my tablet out so I have pen pressure. So yay, review, first look at them. Oh, that's pretty strange. Okay. Like these would be really good for clothing maybe, but they don't seem to blend much. Like I would expect it to, you know, like bleed some more into it. Like they seem more like markers than watercolor brushes, to be honest. Oh, this one is maybe more like it. Like if you have a lot of experience drawing watercolor in real life, I think you would have a much easier time managing with these brushes. But if you have no idea how to do watercolor in real life, I think these will just be confusing. But this one, Rough Wash, is kind of my favorite so far. Oh, and white doesn't do anything, so I think they have some blending. Yeah, they have multiply on them, so I guess you can change this to normal. So I'm watercoloring with white. This will never happen in real life and look good. So this one's a lot better. Yeah, this one's pretty nice. I like this one. I just bought off of Amazon a bunch of watercolor brushes, and they're really nice. They were $10. So they weren't the cheapest the watercolor brushes you can find, but they're pretty cheap for what they can do. Like if you want a proper watercolor brush, it's not gonna be cheap. Okay, let's cut half of this so I have some more room to try the other ones. What is this? Why is it not working? Texture blending, texture impasto. How am I supposed to make this brush work? Ah, okay, I got it. This is nice. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this. Interesting. I think this is more of a blending brush. Yeah, texture blender. This I think is gonna be my new favorite texture blender brush. Oh, I have to do some paintings with these. They're really cool. And these are the standard now, so I should have them in all the Clip Studio Paint programs from now on. I don't need to save these, I think, which would be really nice, because I always like misplace them, and then I have too many brushes and I get lost in them. Like in Photoshop I have way too many brushes and I barely use any of them, and I don't like that I can't select my favorite like I can do here. it gets pretty complicated to make my own batch on Photoshop. But I think at some point I will have to do that, like save my own favorite set. And this is watery brush, which what does it add? It adds water, and it kind of it's a sort of eraser. Like, I mean, you can do this on Unreal watercolor as well. It's just not always ideal. You have to be careful. It's definitely not a beginner's skill in real life, but I mean, this makes it a lot easier. Like, you have undo button. So yeah, rough wash, my favorite so far. Like, when you think watercolor, you think this, and it looks really nice. The more you press, the darker the color, and the lighter you press, the less water color you get, which is not really correct. You should be like thinner, not less color, but you know, it's a good compromise, I think. Looks nice. I can make a lot of trees with this. Yes, you're doing very good, Kay. Foarte bine. Scrii engleză foarte bine, să știi. Yeah, so I was explaining some watercolor brushes that have been introduced to Clip Studio Paint. And they're really nice. I wouldn't say they're realistic, but I guess compared to the other ones, like, I don't know how this is even a watercolor brush. It's definitely not a watercolor brush. Like, they should rename these blender brushes. They are not watercolor in the least bit. This brush is just useless. I never used this for anything. I can't imagine any use for the watery brush. Yeah, the first watercolor brushes that they call watercolor are just terrible. I'm definitely loving these ones that they call realistic. Of course, they're not really realistic, but they're pretty good and pretty interesting, and I kind of like them. I think I saw them, somebody else made them, and I think it was a really popular custom brush that someone made, because it looks really familiar. Like, it was on my list of to download stuff, and I just completely forgot to do that. Not a bad transition from green to red. Yeah, and it has multiply on it, so you have to change to something else if you want to have any transition that is visible. Like, yeah, you switch it to normal and it's okay. You press really hard, it can get like more intense, but I really love how the transition goes. Let's go for purple. Yeah, so my recommendations, if you're new to Clip Studio Paint, give rough wash from the realistic watercolor tab a try, and from the normal watercolors, dense watercolor is a pretty good blender. It takes into account where you start with the color, so then it mixes with what you got. So I'm starting from white here and I'm using purple, so it turns to purple pretty quickly. Start from green, it goes through blue before it goes to purple. So be careful where you start, that's gonna where it's gonna take it. It kinda simulates, I think, oil paintings, and you can definitely control the amount of paint and the density of the paint. So you start from yellow, you're painting with purple, but it takes a while, and it takes in the colors, I think, around it as well. So let's see, from green go through purple, through yellow, and this is how it blends it. So yeah, that was like a little introduction to the brushes. I kept saying I'm gonna do this tutorial someday, but at least I did it here in the live stream, and hopefully it's useful for you guys. Thank you for watching. Next live stream is gonna be Saturday, and next page is gonna be 110. If June can do the line art, if not, I will think of something to share with you guys, live stream, and all the rest. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye bye everyone.